will be what considerations do you need to think about for night at Walt Disney World? So we did a
Uh-huh.
3-part series. We've already done the one for like things to consider for the morning part of your trip or
Okay.
the day, the midday part of your vacation. Tonight we'll wrap it up with the
Okay.
night. Like
And I could have been there for it and just don't
well, dude,
remember.
it was like 3 months ago. So yeah, I went back. I was like, did we ever finish that? I don't think we did.
Go back to the early years. There's probably a few series we
Oh, I know
haven't
there's probably some from
finished.
like 2012 that we still have left. I know, like trapped in, like we didn't finish the lands.
And we haven't done each of the resorts.
I think we've probably hit every resort by
You
now.
think?
I hope. It'd be bad if we haven't. I don't know. We gotta look. I'll look. Not today, but I'll look.
The
I can't.
Riv. I bet we haven't done the Riv.
I bet we haven't. It's true. We have not. We could talk about the Little Mermaid rooms coming.
Oh my gosh.
See.
I don't care what they theme them as long as they're not in a little pirate double bed.
I know, seriously, just make them queens. That's all.
Right. That's all. Like, I liked the pirate theme. I thought it was cute.
So did I, but they were small.
But that
And
bed, yeah.
the mattresses. 'Cause I stayed there for my very first marathon.
Yes.
Like not marathon weekend, but I ran my first full marathon. And that mattress
Yeah.
was like a Bible page, like thick. You know how thick your
It
pages
was
are in the
very
Bible?
thin.
It was
And
thick.
the bed frame was unforgiving.
Yeah, especially when you're 6'3". Yeah, you can't you could not let your feet dangle off because it would you
Nope.
were in the boat.
You had to be careful about sharks.
Yeah. I was like, dude, Captain, I'll take my chances with the sharks. Let my feet dangle. I'm tall. Okay, I can't even talk. So here we go. All right, this is 166. This is gonna be ugly. People are gonna be like, oh my god, this is so bad. Yes, hey Margie, hey Phil, hey Jennifer and Fulton. Thanks for being here. Oh, Phil, you got down. I'm glad you got down because I saw you were trying to make it. Man, what a weekend. We'll talk about that. All right, here we go. Got the levels right because I'm going to need a little boost on this today. Boost. I want to be boosting this the whole show. Okay. Yeah, I sound great, Jeff. Yeah, I sound worse. And it's going to keep getting worse. Okay, here we go. Welcome to episode. Try it again. Welcome to episode 2166 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com. And you can find me, of course, over at BR. I screwed that up again. What is going on? I'm worried about my voice so much I can't think about what I'm saying. Let me try it third time. Third time be a charm. Because it's just jumped. Okay, okay, here we go. Welcome to episode 2166 of the Be Our Guest Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope your week is going well. And we are here, of course, to get to business and answer your listener questions. And to do that today, we have your friend in mind, the co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel, Pam Forrester. Pam, how's it going on this fine Wednesday?
It's going great, although your voice sounds crazy. You and the yelling for the sports teams is all I have to say about that. And
The Georgia fans that sat in front of me on Saturday night are laughing their butts off right now if they happen to find out that I host a podcast and they tune into today's show, because I, for 3 hours, just kept yelling, Stetson, Stetson. And they were getting mad by the second quarter. They were seething by the third quarter. And they wanted to knock me out by the fourth quarter. So they probably think this is just glorious that I have not been able to talk for the last 72 hours. So yeah, it's one of those things. But I mean, I gave all for Old Mizzou and I would do it again. So here we are.
So the rule has to be when you attend an in-person game or you are watching a game and there are people around you other than your family, is you're not allowed to have Be Our Guest podcast stuff on, and you're not allowed to have Magic for Less Travel stuff
Nope.
on.
Nope. I did not bring up either that I can recall.
Yes, right.
I don't drink. I don't drink beer, and there was a lot of beer consumed in my section. There was beer spilled on my wife twice by a guy in a Michigan hoodie. A Michigan hoodie. He was at a Mizzou, Georgia game. So that was interesting. It was a great atmosphere at the zoo. We haven't had that atmosphere probably in 6 or 7 years. So good job, Mizzou fans. We almost pulled it off, but absolutely, I'm competitive. And so I know I don't bring up anything. I try to be as anonymous as possible when I'm there. I'm just a Mizzou fan. I don't want any I want to walk out of that place because once I get close, the coach could put me in, man, because I'm that fired up. I'm all you can tell by my voice. I mean, I'm in. So
We're
I will
gonna
not
get a beard for you, like a something to help disguise
I do,
your.
because I am fired up at a sporting event. I'm ready to go. So nobody needs to know my Twitter handle. Nobody needs
Mm-mm,
to know where
mm-mm.
I work. And I think a lot of our listeners, because we have a lot of SEC fans, Big Ten fans in the listening audience, they can relate. We're all in. So it just means more down in the SEC. So, what's going on with you this week?
Stuff. Let's just say my backyard now. This is why I've not posted anything about our new house, because it is still, the landscaping is a work in progress. This is the final piece. But my backyard, there's just major construction going on there, and it's hard to see it. Oh, and we had the torrential downpour, of course, at the end of last week, including hail and
Wow.
a small river running through the backyard where there's no grass anymore. So
Apparently, there was a movie called that, A River Runs Through Pittsburgh, or wherever
through
you
my
live. Yes,
backyard.
yes, exactly. But here's the good news: you'll have your first snow here in about 2 weeks, so it'll be
Yeah,
covered and really good.
true. I can't even go there, but yes. So the joys of home ownership continue, but it's all good. End project in sight. So
It's
yeah, but
always
I'm
good.
not going to be one of those bloggers who's like, here's every step of my new home journey. No, no, you don't want to see it, because a lot of times it would be me being like, are you freaking kidding me? How is this taking this long? That kind of stuff. So,
Yeah, I'm not
anyways.
into those shows either. Good Bones that my wife always has on Saturdays, I'm like, "Turn that
Mm-mm.
off." I know they're from Indiana, but it drives me nuts. I don't care about Good Bones, Bad Bones, or nothing. I don't That looks like a nightmare to me. I hate Homer.
Right.
So let me drop some Disney news on you. Let's talk about this before we
Okay.
get to the first question of the day. And if you have
Yeah.
questions and you're in the live chat, drop them in the live chat. We'll get to those right away. So we've known the pirate rooms are going away over at Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort for about 2 or 3 months at this point, over in the Trinidad section of this resort, which it's kind of remote, that part of the resort, but it's
It
actually
is.
really close to the Skyliner station. I mean, if you think about it, you're
Yes.
right there by the Skyliner, and it has its
Mhm.
own little quick service location out there. People don't know that, but there is one that just reopened recently.
Spyglass.
Spyglass, yeah. But now we've just found out a couple of days ago that they are going to retheme these rooms to the Little Mermaid. So, what were your thoughts on that?
I love the idea of having these rooms rethemed. First of all, I always liked the pirate room theme, because I thought it was a theme that appealed to a bunch of different people, right? More than the typical princess or things like that. So I love the theme, but as we all know, and we chatted about, the beds were horribly uncomfortable.
Very. They were made for people that were 5'8" or under. I mean, I'm 6'3".
For sure.
The bed was not mic friendly.
No, it wasn't. And the mattress was really thin too.
Super.
So
I mentioned earlier before we started recording, the mattress was the thickness of a page in the Bible. I'm just saying it was thin.
and not like one of those fancy Bibles. We're
No,
talking the
I'm
cheap
saying
ones so you can
I
see through the page. Yeah.
I still use the one I got at North County Christian School in 2nd grade that came with our Becca books, and, like, the stack that was shrink wrapped. I mean, that was the cheapest
Yes.
Bible ever, but I mean, it was, get you to heaven just as well. So there you go.
Exactly. Yeah, so it was, there were a couple reasons, but the theme was really cute. Like, I loved how the dresser and the nightstand were all kind of themed like crates and like a barrel and things like that. So we'll see. I'm really looking forward to what these rooms look like, and I think that they'll have the appeal. And like you mentioned, I know that people are like, "Oh my gosh, I don't want to be in those rooms because it's so far from everything." But the truth is that Caribbean Beach, like most other large resorts, has an internal bus system, as well as the fact that it really is not that far. I mean, I've stayed there many times and walked to the main building. It's not really that far. Now I know after a day of being in the parks for like 16 hours, that walk seems far if you're stopping, if you need to go to the main building for something or whatnot. But yeah, and the fact that it is close to that Skyliner and actually has some really pretty views too. I love that area of the resort because it's a little quiet. And for those of you who don't know, every island, right, in Caribbean Beach, at the Caribbean Beach Resort, has its own pool too. So I think that that's a bonus too. So hopefully, once Disney gives these rooms a little zhuzh, they'll be back up there in popularity for sure.
I think these will be popular. You want to know what I think about that? Here's what I think, because I've thought about this, because those rooms do feel remote. Because I run when I stay at Caribbean Beach. I run and I go down and turn around in that parking lot in Trinidad down by the Pirate Rooms. I go down to that
Mhm.
parking lot, turn around, come back. I think what it is, I would guess the distance is probably similar, like from the Art of Anime from the Little Mermaid rooms at Art to the to Landscape of Flavors to the main area there,
Mhm.
or like at a Riverside to the furthest rooms in Alligator Bayou to the main
Mhm.
areas there. I would bet it's similar if you walk it, but I think what gets you at Caribbean Beach is that you gotta cross the road. Like, I think
Yes.
it's like, "Dude, I'm on the other side of the street." I think
Right.
you gotta cross that little road. I think
It's
that's
true.
like a mental thing. Like, "Man, I'm so far away, like, I'm in a different zip code or something. Like,
Right.
I gotta cross the street." There's
Is
something
the
about
sales tax the same in these rooms, right?
am I in
Did we
Lakeside
cross the
or I'm
line?
still in the county? I don't know where I'm at, but I think I'm still at the resort. Um, I
Yeah.
seriously think that is something. So, but yeah, you're exact and Scott loves the quiet pools. He's a quiet pool expert around here, so he'll be excited to get out there. But, I'm excited because, again, it's one of those things, and Apple's kind of been, noted for this in the past. It's one of those things that was almost like form over function. I love the way these rooms look. Like, I would have stayed in them every time, and it fits the theme. Caribbean the pirate rooms fit Caribbean Beach better than Little Mermaid even. It
No.
looked great, but they just the execution left a little to be desired. I just hope they have queen, nice, comfortable beds, storage under them, but they have the theme. I hope they, hit the theme, but they make them more functional.
I know, because we've seen what a great job they've done at the resorts that they've rehabbed recently with the Polynesian, with the Moana themed rooms. I think that was a home run. I love the Incredibles themed rooms at the Contemporary. So there is a desire for these types of rooms because they sort of, bring them into sort of this feeling that we expect when we're staying at a nice hotel, right? That they have all these different amenities, but they have these little Disney touches. So yeah, we'll see. But really interested to see what Disney does with this for sure.
All right, the second piece of news we'll hit, and then we'll hit the first question of the day. So again, if you have questions in the live chat, drop those in. Otherwise, we'll head to the inbox. After hours events coming back to Walt Disney World starting in very early January. So these are the events where you can pay extra to be in the parks late at
Mhm.
night. Select parks, I believe they've announced Magic Kingdom and Disney's Hollywood Studios at this point, starting early January. Prices around like 139 to 159 depending on the night. There's some annual pass DVC discounts available. And of course, there are some treats included, Mickey bars, popcorn, drinks, soft drinks, stuff like that. So, Pam, what are your thoughts on these events returning to Walt Disney World in 2023?
I am thrilled to see these events come back because so many people loved these events. You rarely heard a bad report on people from people who attended these events. They said the lines were good, the snacks were cool that they were included. So I really like that they're bringing these back, and it really just gives people an opportunity to be in the parks. From all accounts, um, people were able to get a ton done during these times, and I think that that's what the price, inclusive, that's inclusive of the price. You'll see that you're able to do a lot of things. You have those snacks included, and I think that's why we're seeing the price point at that. So I think that's the one detractor for some people, but I think when you look at it from a value perspective, the cost of a 1 day ticket and the fact that you're going to have lower lines and all those snacks included as well, I think you're going to come out ahead with this. So,
And I think too, with these kind of events, these are the things that when you go home, and say you're home for 2, 3 weeks, a month, and somebody asks you, you're talking to the parents at the PTA, you're talking to the parents at cheer practice, and you're waiting to pick up your kid. That'll be the night probably that you talk about, like, man, that one night we were there at the Magic Kingdom, it was late at night and we were eating all the Mickey bars we wanted. We had the soda. I don't think at that point you're talking about that, you paid $140 for that night. You're just thinking we got so much done and we felt like Elvis. It was
Exactly.
we were the rock star for that night. It's one of those things, yeah, it's expensive, but it's one of those, like, while in Rome, you've gone all this way, you've bought the airline tickets,
Yeah.
you've paid for a hotel. It's like you're gonna go that extra way to the finish line. And it's not ideal, but I think you get a good value out of it.
Yeah, I think you do too.
All right, let's hit the first question. It's from Melissa in the inbox over here. Says, "Hey, Mike, Pam, Ricky, and Scott. My husband and I are headed down to the World for our baby moon during Wine and Dine weekend. Clearly not running this one, but this was the weekend that worked best for us before baby boy's arrival in early April. Staying at Caribbean Beach and excited to be at the Skyliner Hub. We haven't been down for a race weekend before, so looking to see if there are any parks we should avoid on certain days or any times we should avoid certain types of transportation. As of now, we're planning Epcot on Friday, Hollywood Studios on Saturday, Animal Kingdom on Sunday, and Magic Kingdom on Monday. Best of luck to you and all the lizards who will be running. Thanks in advance. Love the show, Melissa." And she's in Pennsylvania, by the way. She sent a follow-up just letting us know where she's from. She's up in the Keystone State. So, Pam, so Wine and Dine Race Weekend is centered around, I think it's Epcot. I should know. The Epcot parking lot, I believe. God, I hope I'm not messing that up because I'm supposed to be running it, and I think I still am. I probably shouldn't. My knee doctor said don't. He's like, "You can probably run Dopey," which when he said that, when his lips were moving, I said, all I heard was, "You're good to run Wine and Dine." So that's what I heard. I mean, like, it was a translation kind of thing. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't bought my plane ticket, but I almost have. So I'll probably be there. But what do you think? So if they're going to the parks with Wine and Dine, really the only thing I worry about over marathon weekend is the full, because it runs so long. It takes so long to finish. I think you're good to go anywhere on any day, to be honest.
I think so too. And I think the thing that we've talked about is leading up to and the nights before the different races. I think what you'll find is that the folks down there for the race are probably already in bed or eating at that point once it gets into the evening, right? So that doesn't impact crowds too much during that time. You may see a little bump in the days afterwards, but we don't see a huge impact on the crowds from that. The other thing that we always warn people of is the mornings of the races, transportation is a little impacted. So take a bit of extra time to get where you want to go. Of course, the Skyliner is the one mode of transportation that is not impacted because it's flying high above all of the runners and the drivers that are trying to get around. But those are the main concerns when you're talking about our race weekend, for sure.
Yeah, you just brought up a great point. I deleted her email, but Saturday and Sunday during the 10K and the half, those are the 2 days I would probably go to Epcot and the studios, because you could get there directly via the Skyliner and you could go over all the road traffic. That's a great tip.
Right. And you know what? The other thing that will probably be impactful, and I think this is the case during race weekends, is dining reservations can be challenging because there are so many people looking for dining early dinner.
Yeah. Oh man, dude, get them yesterday. I mean, honestly, because it's hard to get that race. Wine and Dine Race Weekend is hard to get an ADR.
For sure.
I mean, boat rides is golden at that point. Telling you,
I know.
We've been there. You were with us. Was that marathon weekend? We were like, we don't care where we like. What was that place at Caribbean Beach that closed down? The place that had steaks before Sebastian's Bistro. It was Shutters.
Yes,
like, we want Shutters. We don't care. We'll eat at 9:30. Like, sorry.
I know, right? I know, and that's the thing. So if you're having trouble finding something at around like typical early dinner times, try a little later and hopefully you'll have something there.
We were like, is that Captain Jack's place at Disney Springs still open? When it used to be downtown Disney, they got the one
out on the water.
Exactly. We don't care. We just want to eat something.
That must have been the recommendation from Burn Bombs, like 8-10 years in a row. I like they were getting let's just say it felt like they were getting paid by Captain Jack's.
Somebody was greasing the palm. Just saying.
Our dining recommendations brought to you by the good folks at
Yeah.
Captain Jack's.
But you know what? I mean, back when I first got into this, I picked all my restaurants by the Birnbaum's Guide, and I picked them by the pictures. That's why I still love San Angel Inn so much, because no kidding, that restaurant looked the best in the guide of any Walt
Oh,
Disney World restaurant there
yeah.
was. And 50s Primetime, same thing. I think that's why I have such as a sci-fi. I think that's why those
Yes.
restaurants are still to this day so popular. They look so good in the Birnbaum's Guide because glossy color pictures.
I know they did, and they would use the same pictures year after year usually. So you kept getting hit with them every year, right? You were like, "Oh yeah, I'm absolutely going there. Look at that milkshake and mom's meatloaf."
Yeah. I mean, I'm not, my brain's not very big. You just keep giving me a picture like, yes, I will go back to San Angel. Yes, I'll eat there. It looks good. The pyramid,
Captain
the smoke.
Jack's sounds like a great idea.
Absolutely. All right, Jennifer is here from the Westplex in beautiful St. Charles County, Missouri. Do the resorts have special activities for guests on Halloween? Even more specifically, good old Pop Century. So do they do any trick-or-treating? How do the resorts celebrate October 31st, Pam? You ever been there?
I have, and it really varies from year to year and resort to resort. I think the thing that is impacting it now, I know, is staffing, I'm sure, but one of the things that you're going to want to do when you get there is, first of all, look in your My Disney Experience app. Once you're on property, look at those entertainment and activities that's in your resort area. And then the other thing you want to check with is an activities guide. And check with the lobby concierge to see that. And sometimes they actually have things going on at Disney Springs too. But the big trick or treating, of course, is going to be happening at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party that night. But they usually do have at least Halloween themed activities for the weeks leading up to Halloween.
I would say at Pop Century, they're going to have some kind of activities going on because that's one thing I will say over the past 5 years that Walt Disney World has really done well, is that they have brought those activities because they kind of trickled down from the deluxe resorts. You know, you saw these things like at a beach club, yacht club. I saw them a lot at Animal Kingdom Lodge, but they've trickled their way down to all the values, every resort. And those activities teams, I don't think they get enough credit because I know it's not everybody's thing, that the rolling, game squad comes rolling
The cart.
Some people are trying to, chill out and drink their Michelob Ultra at the, Pop Century poolside, but also people in the red and blue and green with the cart, they're playing, the Macarena.
Yes.
But they engage the kids, and it's high energy, and they do tie-dye shirts over by the camp, where you make the s'mores, and you know what I mean? I see that stuff, and that's the stuff that a lot of kids are going to go home, and no kidding, they're not going to talk about the ride on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train or the meal at Cinderella Castle. They're going to talk about making the tie-dye shirt, or that they won the little trinket that they would get for, being good at the dentist office, like out of the treasure chest. That's the stuff those kids are going to talk about. And I'm glad they do that.
Yeah, me too. There's a lot of kids who although there might be some adults who cringe when they see the cart coming out, there are a lot of kids who are really happy about that cart coming out. So, yeah, for sure. Lots of great activities by the pool and otherwise, like you said, I'm always shocked at they set up the table and they're doing painting or tie-dyeing or something, and it's for a really reasonable cost, right? Some of those activities incur a little nominal charge, and I think that they're totally worth it. And you're absolutely right. Kids are going to remember those kind of things so much, and they'll talk about it, and that's the thing. So yeah.
It's time for Mambo number 5. And all of a sudden Lou Bega is like rocking your vacation for the next 5 minutes.
It's true.
All right. Amy's got a question here. Hey, BOG podcast hosts. I like that. Just leave it open. It could be anybody. So there you go. I listened to your podcasts all leading up to my trip this past week, and it helped make such fun plans. That being said, I booked it out of Orlando this past Wednesday morning to leave before the hurricane, and now I have 2 unused park passes that expire in a year. When would you suggest going for 2 short days or a 3-night Walt Disney World trip? So Amy got out of there before, she could incur the wrath of Ian, which was probably a great idea. But
For
now
sure.
in Walt Disney, if you had unused tickets on your package, you have 365 days to use those tickets. So Amy, opportunities knocking here. She can go down for maybe a quick weekend. What would be a good kind of opportunity for her? What would you say if you got this? If you were in her shoes, what would you think about?
I know. So we're like hashtag vacation enablers. So
Yes,
we'll
we are.
help you out here. We'll
We got
help
2
you
days to this, man. Let's do this.
So if you live in a part of the country like I do, where the winter seems to last about 10 months out of the year, right about February, March, there are some times there which are a really great time to get out of wherever you are, and just see the sun and spend a little time just doing something in warmer weather. So that may be something that you want to consider. If you were not looking into going there February or March, I think another great time is early May. And the reason why that's so good is crowds are typically a little lower at that time of year because you really aren't taking your kids out of school to come there at that point in time. There's really not a major holiday you have to work around until you get to Memorial Day. So early May is a good time. And of course, the time that you went is actually usually a good time to go. We know we have hurricane season, but hurricane season actually starts in June and goes through November. So it's a big chunk of the year. And that may be something you want to consider too.
But then some people are bad luck. Like they just go at hurricanes like appear. So I mean, it happened for you once. So no, just kidding. But what I was gonna say was pick your favorite Epcot festival over the next year. Like
Oh, that's a
you
good
wanna go down
idea.
for wine and dine, go next fall, save it, wait almost a year, wait 10 months.
Hmm.
Go maybe a little bit earlier in the year, but you could also go check out Festival of the Arts, go to Flower and Garden. I think that's a great opportunity, because it's a quick trip. Drop in at Epcot, swing over to the Magic Kingdom. That's what I like to do in 2 days. Maybe it's a hopper though, and you could get even more done. Go to the studios.
Right? You could
I
do
usually
all
leave
the
out,
things.
I'm terrible, but I leave out Animal Kingdom when I only have like a couple days, 3 days. Do you? I mean, Scott loves Animal Kingdom. That's his favorite park. It's not my. Here's the thing. I like Animal Kingdom. When I go to Animal Kingdom, I have a blast. I really do. I have a great time. But I have again a mindset thing. Like if I only have like 2 or 3 or 4 days, I always skip Animal Kingdom. But once I get there, I'm like, man, I'm having a good time. Great food, great attractions, good shows. I love it.
Hmm. So I think the thing for Animal Kingdom for me is it's hard to bounce into Animal Kingdom and get anything really done, right? Because by the time you're walking in and you walk up through the tree of life and all of that stuff, it's not an easy in and out thing. And I think the other parks I can do that so easily, right? You can, Hollywood Studios really isn't that big. You can jump in there and leave and go do something else. Magic Kingdom, again, you can get a few things done and leave and feel like you've accomplished something. And I think even Epcot, there are certain things that I usually have that I want to do there that I find easy to do. I think that's what it is for Animal Kingdom, that it's more challenging to do that and bounce on to something else. And so that probably, like if we're doing a short trip, that probably is what limits us there. And I agree with you. Once I'm there and in there, I like Animal Kingdom. I like the trails. I like the different restaurants there. I think that they have some of the better quick service locations, right?
Well,
We're always talking
they-
about them.
I think it's better than Epcot. I mean, Epcot's you go there.
Agreed.
I mean, Animal Kingdom to me, hands down, has the best quick service. I mean, Satuli Canteen, Flame Tree Barbecue, Yak and Yeti, and Harambe Market right there. Those are
Right.
solid choices.
I know, agreed. So, I mean, that's the thing. So maybe we need to reframe how we think about Animal Kingdom.
I know, but it's like the Caribbean beach like road thing. Like
Right.
it's like the old we used to watch Jesse around here like 24/7 when Mallory was
Um,
younger, and it's like Bertram, right? He would say, "But it's so far," and he'd have to go like pick something up on the other side of the room. The butler, that's how I am. If I'm at Pop Century, I'm like, "But Animal Kingdom's so
so
far." And it's
far.
not. I just gotta sit my butt on a bus, and
Right.
boom, be there. Like
I know. Well, next time you go, I'll go,
yeah. Hey, you just said. Hey, you just oh my god, that's all we heard in this house for like 5 years. Yeah, I could quote like every line from that show. Okay, next email's from Michelle. Says, "Hey Mike, reminiscing with you guys listening to today's episode. Epcot is my favorite, and I'm loving all the memories. And this is about our show from this past Friday. I can't call in on Sunday, but had to share a quick memory about how much Epcot impacted me. I graduated high school in 2000, and every college essay question was centered around the importance of it in how we viewed the millennium. What did I write about? Epcot, of course. Illuminations was literally the subject of my essay and how it shaped the way I thought the world could be. It's by far my favorite nighttime spectacular ever. I'm a little bummed not to be there this weekend to celebrate with all the hurricane and all. I thought it was better not to make the trip, but at least I'll get to celebrate during Wine and Dine race weekend. Have a great weekend, Michelle. And I think that's a sentiment of a lot of folks. A lot of us couldn't be there, but I really think that as I, look back finally, for Epcot 40, my biggest thing I'm going to walk away from was Epcot was the perfect park for the millennium. That's kind of my big
Mhm.
takeaway, was that it was so special with Illuminations, Tapestry of Nations, and the optimism that I think we all felt as humans being on planet Earth around 1999, moving into the year 2000. Anything was possible, because it was kind of like the beginning of, really, this was pre-iPhone, this was pre-social media for the most part, pre-Twitter for sure. And there was just a real optimism that the world could come together. A lot of things that have been bad had not happened at this point. And a lot of good has happened since the millennium too. Don't get me wrong, a lot of good, but it just felt like the world was a more optimistic place. And Epcot was like the beacon for optimism, at least for me at that time and in place.
I agree, and I think, not having all the photos, right? All of the everything like that, bombarding you sort of with that. I think sometimes your memories of things are actually better
I
than
agree.
they even were, right? You tend to romanticize things that happen there. So, like, you don't have a picture of 8 million people being crammed into, you know what I mean? You don't
You're
have
like,
all
it
of
was
that.
never crowded. It probably was packed, but we just don't.
Right.
It was the good old days, right? That's right.
Exactly. So it's easy to sort of buy into that whole narrative. And I think too, when we're thinking about things, we do tend to romanticize things. And I think that's a great quality in people, right? It's better to look back and think it's better than it was than it is to look back and think it's worse than it was. So I love that about people in general, that we're just optimists in that point. And we really, really like that. And it probably for so many of us, that was during a time where we were like, oh, things were better back in those days and whatnot. When, they're perfectly great right now. But I think we just have a tendency to really sort of look back on things fondly. And, I think that's great.
And don't get me wrong. So, a little behind the scenes is that we don't like track anything, as far as our listeners, but there are ways that like we get demographic breakdowns from like our listenership sometimes from our, we don't know who's listening where, but we know that our target audience is skews female. And we know that it's people around our age, slightly younger maybe, but around our age.
Right.
And if you think about folks around our age, Pam and myself, Ricky's a little bit younger, Scott's a little bit younger. But the thing is, think about where we were in our lives around the year
Mm.
1999. Okay, so we
Yep.
were we were just emerging into our, moving from like being a kid to being an adult and moving into our
Yeah.
careers. And that's that point of life where, everything is right, right? You're in
For
college, you're
sure.
getting out of college, you're getting your first job, you're getting your first place. Maybe you're finding that significant other, maybe you're not. But that's that point of life that I think a lot of us now that are loud on social media, like the people that are probably in their like mid 40s, early 50s, like 40 to 50, I would say right now, like
Yes.
that age demographic. We're kind of the ones that are all over Facebook, all over Twitter, all over the social media screaming about this stuff. And that was kind of our like glory years, so that I think that has something to do with it too.
Yeah, yeah, of course. And too, when you think about it too, that this goes back to the fact that we sort of romanticize that, right? Our first places may not have even been that great, but dang,
It
it
was
was
worse than that.
ours,
Like, it was 'cause you didn't have the responsibilities that you have. Like,
right?
back then, I didn't have a mortgage.
100%.
Like, I lived in an apartment. Who cared? Like, it was you just pay the
Exactly. It was
rent. Who
all
cared?
good. It all felt new and good and easy.
Right.
But yeah.
Exactly. Like life was so easy. I mean, back then I was just worried about like, oh, what am I going to sign up for? My senior year, oh, I got student teach. It's gonna be so hard. That was so easy. Like looking back, student teaching I thought was gonna kill me. Oh my gosh, that would be a piece of cake. Bring it on.
Or or what will your plans for the weekend be? Like that was a big like, what am I gonna be doing this weekend? Yeah,
Yeah,
for
my
sure.
plans for the weekend now have been the same for the last decade. They don't change because I'm old. That's so funny. Okay, next question says, questions for upcoming October trips. We're getting to this just in time. It's from Kim. She's in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. Hey, Mike and BOGP crew, love the podcast, and your energy brings positivity to us, so many of us. I'm hoping you can answer a question for my husband. My husband first asked how I would know which episode my question will be answered on. I responded that it doesn't matter because I listen to all of them. So let me just tell your husband real quick. Here's the first answer. It's going to be answered on episode 2166, coming out on October 5th, 2022. So there you go. You probably know that by now because you're listening. My husband is coming along to be the driver on a cross country track that my 22-year-old daughter and I have planned as a mom and daughter do Disney trip. He has to work remotely while we have fun, the poor guy, she put in parentheses, but he wants to try to find places outside of the hotel room where he can open up his computer and at least try to enjoy the atmosphere and maybe some food and drinks at the same time. We're staying at the boardwalk. Any suggestions for quieter places with good Wi-Fi? One, ding, 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 ding. I have one.
Right.
Um, where they won't raise an eye if he plans himself for a while to work. Thanks. I can't wait to get back to the magic, but I'm so thankful that you bring a little magic to everyone when we can't be there. Kim out in Niagara Falls. First of all, Kim, you're very kind. We thank you for listening because we love doing this show. It's so much fun for us on this end, and you just made my weeks with those kind words. So that means a lot. So Bellevue Lounge. I mean, is that or the little nook there, the boardwalk? Is that still what it's called? The little radio place that you can that's never occupied. That's where I would say first.
Especially during the early parts of the
Right,
day.
right.
Yeah.
During the day, for sure. There's nobody over there.
Yeah, absolutely. And we need our good friends Phil and Aaron.
They'll pop up anywhere, like, and they're on a call. Like they got the boom mic.
Right?
Hey, what's up, Phil? Sorry, I'm talking to Mission Control.
Right? They work from different areas around Walt Disney World all the time. I've seen them at Coronado. There's a down in the bottom, that lower level, during the day after you hit that coffee rush, right? In the morning, that area is sort of empty at different times. But closer to where you'll be is over at the Yacht and Beach Club, and they have there's a lounge. First of all, there's Ale and Compass, which is there at the yacht club where you can go, and that has good Wi-Fi, and he'd be able to grab something to eat and have a seat there. It's a nice location, and the light is lower, and I think that that's really good when you're working on a laptop. The one thing to be aware of in Florida is like there's sun all the time. And so if you're outside, that's challenging with a laptop, as many of us know. The other place to look at the beach club is at Martha's Vineyard. Again, it's the lounge area there. It's sort of by Beaches and Cream. That's a good location. I'm trying to think of another place. Over at the Riv, there is Bar Riva. And because you're staying there and close to the Skyliner, right? The Skyliner station, you can take the Skyliner over to the Riviera and have a seat in Bar Riva or Primo Piatti, which is the quick service location, and work from there as well. And the Wi-Fi there is good. Finally, one other location that I'll mention, and there is a library that is also at the Riviera.
Yes, that is
right?
a cool spot. Anyway,
I know.
That's a great place to work. Yeah,
I know, but we have to keep that just between friends because
don't tell anybody.
Right.
We just let that out, but this is all our secret. Everybody huddle up. Nobody else tell.
That's right. Keep it to yourself, but that's a great location too. But there'll be lots of great spots. And honestly, working from Disney World is not that bad. It's actually kind of a nice environment and gives you a different point of view. So enjoy.
I signed up for a race in the Banana Cabana at Caribbean Beach. That's a good place to work because if the weather's nice, if you want to be outside, You could
That's
actually, if
true.
your computer's strong enough, you could sit outside at the boardwalk and work out there on the boardwalk. I mean, depending on, like you said, the light, if you can still see your laptop, because the
Yeah.
Wi-Fi will be strong enough out there. The one last place though, you mentioned the yacht in the beach club. Both of those hotels in the lobby. Now, you might not want to work in the lobby, but if you just take the stairs up to that second level, there's
Mhm.
like an overlook, and there's
Yeah.
like a kind of like a like seating up on that second level where it's going to be quieter, and there's actually going to be probably more space to work up there. I think that'd be a good spot. All the deluxe resorts, if you look around, will have like little alcoves with seats and tables, and
Mhm.
that'd be a good place to just kind of set up shop for, however long you need. Nobody would bug you at all, I don't think. I've
Yeah.
worked everywhere.
Yeah, great ideas. Yeah, we all have. I mean, that's why we get to do what we do. So,
And Mary Jane in the live chats, lobby of Swan and Dolphin are nice too. They have a business center if you need it. So
oh, that's
great
a good
suggestion, Mary
suggestion.
Jane.
Yeah.
Okay, last question of the day is coming from Carrie. It's a podcast question, Run Disney Metal Picks. Good evening, Mike. I hope your knee is healing and running is in your near future. The knee is not healing, but I am running, which is stupid, but we'll see. For Run Disney Marathon Weekend, my friend and I are not going to the parks. We want to chill at the different resorts and enjoy the good food, as well as maybe relax in the pool. Carrie, you are the smartest listener of today's podcast. Thank you. You win. That is perfect. That sounds like you just win the whole week, because that's exactly what you should do. Each day, we want to take pics with our medals. We're doing the Dopey Challenge and wondering if there are locations outside of the parks where we could catch all four main Disney icons in the background. We thought maybe the balcony of the Contemporary for the magic, I guess for the Cinderella Castle, and the walkway to Hollywood Studios from Yacht and Club for the Tower of Terror. That's right. Where could we go to get the background of Spaceship Earth? And what thoughts do you have for the Animal Kingdom pick? And is the Mickey birthday cake still outside the Magic Kingdom? Thanks, Mike and crew, for any thoughts that you might have. Your podcast is getting us through our long runs and will help push me along in the half marathon I have coming up in Fort Wayne this weekend. Well, Carrie, hope you had a great half marathon, because that one is past. I like this idea though, because you do want to get for Dopey, you want to get the icons. I've done that too. I agree. Contemporary, go up. There's a balcony right outside, actually, on that main
Fourth
level,
floor.
fourth floor. So you could
Yep.
totally get Cinderella Castle there. Spaceship Earth, you could get if you could go to the bar at the top of the Riv.
You can. The other thing I was going to suggest is take the monorail over to Epcot. When you get off the monorail and you're up really
Yes,
high, you'll be able to
yes,
get it there
that's even
behind
better.
you
Way better.
too.
Yes, from the monorail stand. Perfect. That'd
Yep.
be a great shot. And I agree. The walkway from the boardwalk over to Hollywood Studios, you can get an awesome shot of the Tower of Terror. And that's kind of
For
the backside,
sure.
but it's kind of eerie looking. And plus, here's the thing: you'll be finishing the marathon. That's like at mile 25 of the course, right in that spot. So you'll have a memory from there. Definitely do it there. Tree of Life, though, I'm trying to think. You might have to do that from a distance. I'm trying to think how you could do that without getting into the park.
I don't even know. I was trying to think at the entrance, you can't see it. Um,
Like, I mean, you can see it, like, very distantly from the Skyliner. I mean, maybe, or from the top of the Contemporary, you can see it way off. I mean, it'd be like, it'd look like a little Lego. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah. Here's the thing. Here's what you do. You might not do it with your medal. Stop during the race and just snap a picture. Yeah.
no, I know that one is a challenge. I'm going to keep thinking about that one, but it is one of those icons that you really can't see outside of the parks like you can
Can't.
the other ones. And from the Animal Kingdom Lodge, I don't even think that you can see it.
I don't think you can. That's what I was thinking. I don't think you can get it from the lodge either.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, that's a
Huh.
tough one. Yeah,
I
man,
know.
it's big. I was
I
thinking,
know.
because you can get a good picture of it from Everest, you gotta be in the park,
Right.
yeah, I don't know. So if anybody knows or has thoughts on this,
Yeah.
help us out. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike on Instagram and Twitter. Drop me a line and I'll retweet it, and hopefully Carrie can check this out. All right, hey,
Creatively put a park map
yeah,
next to you.
I don't see you.
Have someone hold it in the right way.
Is there? I'm trying to think. Like in a gift shop at Animal Kingdom Lodge, you could get like a Simba stuffed animal. Hold them up. I don't know. You gotta be
Exactly.
creative. Yeah, we'll see, but we'll do the best we can. You got the other 3 nailed though. Totally got there,
For
and I
sure.
like that idea. We'll have to figure out Animal Kingdom for you. All right, well, hey, that's gonna do it for today's show. We made it through. We'll see how Friday goes with the voice, but we've made it to the finish line on this one. Don't forget, you can follow Pam on the social media at TMFLTPam. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike. We'd love to talk to you this week. And of course, we want to help you plan an amazing Disney trip. Whether you're headed to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, Adventures by Disney, why not work with the best? And I'm not kidding. It's over at the Magic for Less Travel. Check them out. Go to the website this week. Just check out all the great photos, all the great trip planning tips, tools. And then while you're there, fill out that quote form and an agent will get back to you right away. We'll start that relationship. We'll talk about the trip. What needs do you have to have a great trip? Is this a first trip? Is this a 17th trip? Is this something you're really focused on the kids? Is this multi-generational? Do you want to make sure grandma and grandpa can hang with the teens? We can talk about that. That's what we do. We're experts. We plan these trips every day, all day. We're going to help you have an amazing experience every time to every Disney destination. So give us a shot. Check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link. They're over at beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you to our patrons who support all these podcasts. Couldn't do it without you. And our patrons get that bonus show called Mike in the Midwest. I'll try to get through it again this week. If the voice can hang out, we'll make it happen. I promise you. Maybe the pie saw bird. We talked about a pie saw bird last week. If you're a patron, you know it's the most terrifying mythological creature of all time that lurks 20 miles from my house, or did, or maybe still does. That's what we talk about on that show. If you'd like to join us, come on over. Patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. All right, we're going to be back again on Friday. Ricky's going to hop on here, and we're going to finish a series that we started about 5 months ago where we break down your Disney day. We've done 2/3 of the series. We broke down your morning. What do you got to think about to have the perfect morning at Walt Disney World? We've done midday. We're wrapping up the series with what do you got to think about when you go to your resort and the theme parks at night to have a perfect night at Walt Disney World. We'll talk about that on Friday's show. So until we get together again, I'm going to go get a lozenge and we're going to get going again. So for Pam, I'm Mike. Wish you a great Wednesday. Time to get back to work. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Woo, halfway there. Okay, let me see. We're halfway there.
All I can hear is the Jesse song.
Yeah, hey, Jesse. Episode 216. That was a good show, actually. I like that show.
Seems like a party
every day.
Hey, Jesse.
Hey, Ricky, let's go. See if she's home.
Down, Jesse.
2 Coke Zeros now. Even cracked. Ricky's home and Scott's home. So we'll get one of them.
Come on down.
Hey, Jesse. Now that'll be stuck in my head for the whole week.
Right.
Hey, Jesse.
Seems like a party.
Ready when you are. Choose this. Let's see. Show breaking down. Dang, I'm hungry. See, now I have to have Dairy Queen on the way to the football field because it's the only thing between here and the football stadium. So I get a cheeseburger.
Dairy Queen.
I have a theory too about Dairy Queens. I think Dairy Queens are the thread that holds America together because I don't know, like I've done a lot of road trips, at least in the Midwest. Like there's a Dairy Queen in every small town. And like, I guess because I grew up playing sports, like sports teams will go to Dairy Queen, like, to celebrate victories. Like you go get ice cream. And, Friday nights, everybody goes to the Dairy Queen to get their ice cream. And that's kind of like for real, like in small towns. And it's a restaurant where you get hamburgers and hot dogs and chicken strips. So not only do they serve like regular food, but they serve ice creams. I think Dairy Queens play a significant role in American culture, especially small towns. That's my thesis.
I get that. I do understand that.
I didn't think about that until we because we're not a small town. We're like a big town, but we're a big suburb. But we see that like after the football games, and we see like the little league teams. I'll go to the Dairy Queen.
That's
our
kind
Dairy
of cool.
Queen's not by itself. Like it's the only thing down that way because our high school is like out like kind of in the boonies. It's weird.
So we have where we used to live, we had a Dairy Queen, but where we live now, there's a couple local ice cream shops, and one of them has what they're famous for is they have these ice creams and they put a scoop of you can have a scoop of cookie dough put on top of your ice cream.
Oh, I'd be dead. That'd be so good.
Right?
Wow. I love cookie
It
dough.
is so good. And they have different kinds of cookie dough too. Like they'll have specialties. I mean, they have some standards, but they have some specialty ones too. It's so good.
So we got a place here, like I remember a couple of years ago, it's like around COVID, they put in a place, like it was like an ice cream place, but it was just cookie doughs, right? At the mall. So you would just go up and get, like it was like ice cream, but you got like a little cup of cookie dough. Well, I ordered one that was like the same size as like an ice cream. Dude, that stuff is, I mean, have you ever tried to eat that much cookie dough? Like
that's a lot of cookie dough.
Because it's so dense.
Yes.
It's probably like 7,000 calories. I have no idea. But I mean, I just remember like after I ate it, my stomach hurt for like 24 hours. I was like,
oh, that's so funny.
This is like a lead bomb. It was so good. I couldn't stop eating it. It was
I know, like our little cookie dough, or like the ice cream cookie dough place will have like brownie dough or right peanut butter cookie dough or whatnot. It's so good. So
we don't have a cookie dough place around here anymore that I know of.
This is an ice cream place that will put cookie dough on top of the ice cream for you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
that sounds amazing. That's right up my alley.
Oh. Yeah, we had a cookie dough place at West County Center. Got a cookie dough, like I got 2 scoops.
Yeah.
Whew. Dude,
2 scoops of cookies.
Yes.
Ice cream. I thought it was the same as ice cream. 2 scoops of that is a challenge.
It is a challenge. It is. You take one home with you and eat the other half later.
But that's the first time I had like cookie dough like as a dessert. Like I usually just snuck it out of like when grandma would.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think there used to be a lot more places like that, but they don't have any around here anymore.
Yeah, it was like kind of a hot thing for like a couple of years.
It was a hot thing that I loved, but
oh, no, it was good. Yeah, Scott, you do still need reservations for the theme parks and make those ASAP.
Yes. So.
Yep.
Oh, we need to have a shower. Oh, I should have put that in here. I'm hiding it.
I was going to say, I do have a registry, but.
He's registered at Toys R Us.
I just signed up on this weekend, so I do have a registry. But.
Dang, that Jesse song is going to be in my head now for the rest of the day.
We talked about Jesse on the last show.
Hey, Jesse.
So you are, I'd be registered on apple.com.
No, not Apple. But another one that starts with an A.
Cardinals.com.
No, another one that starts with an A.
AlbertPujols.com.
That's the one.
He's the man. 702, baby. Mm-hmm. Dude, I cried like a baby yesterday when they took out Albert, Wayno, and Yachty all at once. Dude, I was sobbing.
That's a big deal.
Oh,
yep.
God, I love those guys. So sad. I was like, that's the last time Yachty will ever catch a ball from Wayno.
I know, it's so sad.
God. Unless he makes the postseason roster, which I don't know that Wayno's going to be on the roster. I don't know. We'll see. All right, so we're going to do breaking down. You can probably see it on the screen. We got to finish that series. We never finished it.
Yay, we're good at that. Okay, I don't remember what we did for the series, so you're going to have to remind me.
So, yeah, you might not have been here. Maybe it was Scott and I don't know. So what we did was we did the mornings.
I don't think I was there either.
Really, I was like, no. I was there. I know because there's 2 shows. I looked on the feed.
Okay.
It's not a myth. I went back and looked. So we talked about everything you need to think about to have a successful morning on your Walt Disney World vacation.
I do remember that one.
Yeah. And we talked about middays from like 10 to 3. And so now we'll talk about when you go to the parks at night from say like dinner time through the rest of the day. What kind of things do you got to consider?
Okay.
Okay, so let me get the levels right. My voice is tore up from screaming at Stetson Bennett for 3 hours.
That was a game, man.
Oh, dude, I'd have loved it if we'd have beat them.
I know. You guys came close.
Oh, we should have beat them.
You should have, to be honest.
I was going to go jump Kirby.
Brian was watching that game and he was like, because we were at Texas Roadhouse at the time. He was watching the game. He's like, I can't believe Georgia's losing to Missouri. And I said, wait, they're losing to Missouri?
Oh, yeah.
Well, actually, he said
the game till 5 minutes to go. That's the only time we were losing. God, that'd have been sweet. Beat those suckers.
No, for you all, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it would have been great. Well, at least it helped Alabama because now Bama's back as number 1.
Yeah, there you go.
Roll Tide. Lisa, right, Lisa? Roll Tide. Yes, Lisa, give me a Roll Tide, and then we can start the show. Okay, here we go. This is 61. I had to start the last show 3 times. So let's see if I can get this right this time. Because my voice is so messed up. I'm concentrating on that.
You had to start the show 3 times?
I kept screwing up.
Oh my God.
Okay, get the levels because I'm boosting the levels. There we go. Now we can start the show. Okay. We're good. Okay, 2168. Here we go. Welcome to episode 2168 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rahman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you and welcome to the weekend. And it's homecoming weekend here in the Francis Howell School District. We are getting ready for a big battle this evening against the Timberland Wolves. And all I got to say is, that just means a bad night for the Wolves, baby, because our 6-0 Francis Howell Vikings are getting ready to tear it up. Which I said that, and I probably should take that back.
You just jinxed it. Good job.
I jinx everybody. Oh, and now I'm going to be worried the rest of the week. This is going to be bad, but we're going to make it. We're going to be okay. I hope the principal, and I know we do actually have some of the football players listen to the show, so please let us win. But we're going to have a good weekend. It's homecoming here in our little community, which nothing better. I love this time of year, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Disney today, Walt Disney World trips. And joining me to do just that, we have Ricky, who is down in the state of Georgia, who my Tigers last Saturday night almost took out your dogs, man. We were within, we were so close, and I was going to love it because your husband, Brian, is a big dogs fan. That would have been sweet. So what's going on, Ricky? Happy Friday.
He is a medium-sized dog fan, I guess we should say. Yeah. And things are good. Just, hanging out, getting ready for the weekend. And, it's fall here. So we're talking about maybe going apple picking or something like that this weekend. We shall see. So I'll have bushels of apples that I won't know what to do with because we'll buy them and then they'll just sit on my counter and then until they go bad. And then we've got apples that are bad. So, yeah.
Going apple picking in early fall, that is like almost a meme. It's so
I know, right?
Yeah.
Where's my Ugg boots, my flannel, my, all that stuff.
Starbucks in your hand.
I gotta have the Starbucks in my hand. Yeah.
The pumpkin spice latte thing. Yeah,
exactly. Except for I don't like pumpkin spice lattes. So I'm the one person who doesn't like pumpkin spice lattes, to be honest. So
yeah. I've never had one, and I'm not a pumpkin guy. I've never had pumpkin pie. It just looks that color.
Wait. Never had pumpkin pie.
No, because my grandma would always make at Thanksgiving. She'd make a pumpkin pie, and she would make a chocolate pie, and so there was never ever a need to deviate from a chocolate pie, which was basically just a homemade pie crust with chocolate pudding and whipped cream on top. I mean,
okay, that sounds delicious.
Why bother with anything other than that? No,
you do both.
No, you have
Thanksgiving. You do both.
And to this day, because grandma's long gone, which I love Grandma Ruth and rest her soul, she was the best grandma ever. My mother-in-law now on my birthday, because my birthday's the weekend of Thanksgiving almost every year. She goes to, and you'll get this, Ricky, she still goes to Hendel's
Got it.
Market in Florissant, Missouri, and buys 2 chocolate silk pies, which are 2 of
Nice.
the best chocolate pies in the city of St. Louis, and brings those to Thanksgiving.
Well, that's
So
awesome.
we
I
have
like that.
one. So here's why. We have one to share at Thanksgiving with the family, and I get one to myself to eat the entire week after Thanksgiving while I'm watching football. Like
That's smart.
over the entire like Black Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's awesome.
That's
So I
smart.
just use a fork and eat it right out of the pan.
So when I was just in St. Louis last weekend, I actually went and stopped at Deerberg's, and they have Deerberg's is known for their Tippins pies. I'm not like all about the Tippins pies, but they have a special kind of gooey butter cake. I think it's called Kenzie's something.
Yes, they do, because there's one in my pantry right upstairs because we shop at Deerberg's.
But they have one brownie on the bottom, chocolate chips.
Yes, we have that. Yes. It's
That
killer.
is my favorite one in the entire world. I bought 2 of them. They're in my freezer right now. So
yeah. We get those frequently. Deerberg's has a wicked, awesome, just sweet section. I just got it. Sometimes I just have to not even look because it's crazy. But you're right. That gooey butter Kinsey thing with chocolate, lethal. You just got
it
to
is
stay
very lethal. And
It's
like
crazy.
I said, there are 2 of them in my freezer right now, waiting to be defrosted for that time when I'm ready for the gooey butter cake. So
Yeah, just get a fork and don't even get plates.
I mean, I'm not. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna dig right in. So
Tear
we're
it up.
good.
You're pregnant, dude. You can tear anything up at
I
any
can
time.
and do and will.
Green
So,
light. Green
exactly.
light. Don't even get a fork. Just eat that thing with your face.
Just go with my hand and just
Exactly.
dig on in. There we go. Got it.
Make sure you put that on social media.
No, I will not.
That'd be a great reel.
No.
Okay. Speaking of real, my real friend, and I'm talking REAL, your friend and mine, Pam Forrester, co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel. Pam, thanks for hanging with us. You thought you were never going to get introduced, but here you are. What's up? Happy Friday.
I wasn't fretting about it, and I like the segue there, Mike. It felt like so professional, right? I mean, it really did. So yeah. And now I'm thinking about different pies, and I'm a little concerned that you've never had pumpkin pie. I'm just going to say that.
Gross.
I like pumpkin everything. I really do. We drink pumpkin spice lattes all year round, regardless of whether Starbucks has them or not, because I do buy the pumpkin flavoring to put in my coffee and drink it all the time. So anyways, pumpkin pie rules. And if you go to Universal, you have to get pumpkin juice if you like pumpkin, because it's really good. I like it better than regular butterbeer. Now, warm butterbeer, that wins over
Warm
everything.
butterbeer wins every time. I don't care. It can be the middle of July. If I'm at Universal, I'm getting hot butterbeer. Like, it doesn't matter. It's happening. Yes.
Agreed. Yeah.
Does it count? I do love some pumpkin seeds. I like, enough salt to stop your heart.
Pepitas.
Yeah, because like when we carve the pumpkins, we put we bake the seeds.
Yeah.
And we put, so much salt on them that basically they're just a carrier of salt. So I do eat that part of the pumpkin, but I've never had pumpkin pie. It just looks gross. And you want to know the reach of this podcast? What are the chances? Listener Jennifer, right now, she's listening to the live feed of our shows we record, is at Deerberg's grocery store shopping.
That's amazing.
Trying to avoid the sweet section.
I don't blame her. I don't blame her. Go for the Kenzie's cake. Go for it.
She's probably at my Deerberg's because she's right here where we live. So that's pretty cool. All right. So today the topic is, we're wrapping up the series. A few months back, we talked about breaking down your Walt Disney World day to have success, the things you need to think about to make sure that you're prepared to have a great day. So we broke the day down into 3 sections: the morning, midday, and today we're wrapping it up with nighttime. So there are, because the day changes, the mornings are very different than midday, different than night. And there are different things to consider when you're going to the theme parks and even some things around your resort, but mostly the theme parks at Walt Disney World at night. So we're going to say that's from going back to the park pre-dinner, say maybe 4:00 till park closing, till the end of the day, till things shut down. So when we lead this off, let me go to Ricky. When I say this, Ricky, what's the first thing that jumps into your mind? What do we need to consider to set us up for success when it comes to nighttime at Walt Disney World?
Well, I think the first thing that you should really consider is having a plan for what you want to do about dinner. especially if you're like Mike and he ate at like 4:00, you're going to want to have that dinner plan early.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you always follow the old people. Where they eat, it's going to be good and it's going to be cheap.
Yeah, so, well, it's not going to be cheap at Disney if you're eating at 4:00. I'm sorry to tell you, it's going to be the same price. But or if you're like me and you usually eat dinner about 7, 8 o'clock at night. Although, ever since I've been pregnant, I've been getting a little bit earlier with that. So good for me.
See, you're getting older too.
I mean, I'm not at the 4:00 time window though. So I'm more at the normal time window of like 6-ish, 6:30. So that's better. But I don't think so. But anyway, my husband's not home by then, so I don't think so. But anyway, so you want to make sure you have a plan for what you want to do about dinner. Now that depends on whether you want to do a quick service option or whether you want to do a table service option. Now, some days you can mix it up. You can, do some days where you do quick service, some days where you do table service, but try to have a plan. Now, I usually do a table service meal at some point, most of the time for dinner. You'll want to make sure you have your ADRs set in advance because getting, especially if you have like a restaurant that you really, 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 really want, that ADR, having that in your pocket is going to be key. Now, if you're like me and you don't plan trips until the last minute and you're like, oh yeah, I should probably eat dinner. Then you play the game of let's see what's available for dinner. And usually it's somewhere that's at Disney Springs. So, sometimes you get lucky, but most of the time it's probably a dinner at Disney Springs. So just keep that in mind as well. But sometimes some things pop up and I have gotten lucky and gotten some really good options for dinner as well. So you never know what'll show up. Usually if I don't have a dinner option already scheduled for the day prior, I will usually just go that morning. The later in the afternoon, the less availability there will be. So if you go in the morning, you can probably find something a little bit easier for dinner for a table service location. If you're planning on just doing quick service, heck, that's easy. All you got to do is figure out which quick service location you want to go to, and you're going to want a mobile order. I would suggest, if you're mobile ordering, do it a little bit ahead of time because that way you can have everybody while you're waiting in line, just figure out, okay, hey, we're going to go here for dinner. What do you want for dinner? Get it all situated, set up, paid for, and then hit that when you're getting close, hit the I'm here button. You want to hit it just a little bit ahead of time because as you're walking over, because if you hit it while you're there, sometimes it can take a little bit of time for them to get it cooked.
You're always playing the I'm here roulette game.
Exactly. You are. You are. So I always do it just a little bit ahead of time as I'm walking on my way. But if you're too scared to do that and you don't want to play the roulette game of, oh no, my food's ready and I'm not there, then go ahead and hit it while you're at the restaurant. But I play the game. So I hope that there's a little bit of a delay as I'm walking over because usually there is. So that's the big first thing I'm going to suggest is figure out what you want to do about dinner.
You know what? So we're recording around dinner time right now, as we do every Monday, and it just hit me right now. I'm craving ABC commissary, that buffalo chicken grilled cheese.
I knew you were going to say that buffalo chicken sandwich.
I would pay $50 for one right now, and I am not lying. Like if somebody said, I'll sell you the fries in that sandwich for $50.
Mike's like, I'm here. Let's go.
I would have my watch out bing, and it would be done. I mean, for some reason, when you were talking about mobile order, because what I would do is if I'm coming back to our theme park after spending some resort time for a nap or some swim time, I would be mobile ordering on the Skyliner, on the bus, or whatever the transportation. I'd be getting it all together because it's downtime. That's a good time to make good use of it. So good point. Kind of set up the even if you're going to eat at 8 o'clock and you're going back at 4 o'clock, get it in there. And
that's true. Because all you have to do is get it ready and set up. It will not start cooking until you hit I'm here. So, that's a good tip. You can set it up in the morning if you really know what you want for dinner later that night. Set it and you're mobile ordering for quick service. Set it up in the morning, have it all ready to go, and then that night when you're ready to go, hit the I'm here button. So.
All right, that's it. I'm ordering my.
Go ahead and order it now.
Looking for wine and dine right now. I'm not here yet. Okay, Pam, go on. Give us another thing to think about for nights. Set us up for success.
So, one of the things that I'm always amazed by and particularly sensitive to is the fact that at certain times of the year, it actually is going to get chilly at night. And
Yes.
we always say when your ears and your hands and your feet are cold, the rest of you is miserable.
Mhm.
So, in addition to those jackets, think about the fact that you may want to bring gloves. You may want to bring something to put over your ears, whatever that is, and just so that you can spend your time in the parks.
Mhm.
Even if you look at the weather and you're like, that's okay. Like, I'm used to that weather all the time.
No.
The fact is, you may be used to that weather all the time, but you're probably not outside for an extended period of time,
Mhm.
right?
On your couch. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. You're like, oh, 40s. We have that all the time. That's called spring and fall.
Right?
Yes,
On your
but you are.
couch.
That's
And
right.
it's very different down in Florida. There's
It is.
definitely, I think they say it's because there's humidity in the air that it makes it just a smidgen colder than you're used to. So,
Well, I think the other thing that impacts that is that there really is wind at different
yeah, that's
times
true.
too. It doesn't, it doesn't have the peaks and valleys that so many of us are used to that block a lot of that. So that's something to think of, but just set yourself up for that. We've even been known to, depending on how cold it's going to be, like the hand warmers.
Yep.
I have a thing of those in my bag just in case, because it is miserable, but you want to be out there, right? And you don't want to just ride It's Small World over and over and over again. There does come a period of time though where you're like looking hard at like what attractions are indoor and how long can I stay there,
Mhm.
so that, but yeah, just keep all that in mind.
Kind of piggyback it on that too. If you have children and you're going at night and you're going back to the parks and you're going to be around for like a fireworks show and you're going to kind of set up camp, if you want to pre-buy stuff at the dollar store, which we did when Mallory and Paige were younger, like little glow sticks that you can buy, like a 10 pack of little, necklaces or bracelets, just something for them to mess around with that's going to glow at night. And that way you don't have to spring for the $30 spinny Buzz Lightyear when the cart goes down Main Street, or around the hub. I mean, no kidding. I mean, you could save a lot of money and it just, your kid's busy, like just keep feeding them those little cheap things, let them mess with them. And you can make friends with the people around you as you're kind of waiting out the thing. And that was kind of be my kind of like big idea was when you go back, you kind of have to decide if you're going, now this will be different at Animal Kingdom, but if you're going to a park that has a nighttime spectacular, like Harmonious or Enchantment, or, if you're going to, if Phantasmic comes back around here soon, something like that, you got to decide, is our goal tonight to see the fireworks show, to see the nighttime spectacular, or are we going to forego this and take advantage of shorter lines on attractions? I think that you need to kind of make that decision pre going into the park at night, because once you're comfortable with whatever you've decided, you're going to have a peace of mind, and it's going to let you set up that strategy of, okay, well, if we're going to see the fireworks, we need to make sure that we do all the attractions until, say, if the fireworks are at 9 o'clock, we need to start chilling out at like 8 o'clock, start looking for a good spot so we get a good quality viewing. Cause you don't want to roll in at like 8:45. You're probably going to not see get a good experience. So that's going to impact how you kind of get around for the rest of that night. Where if you're going to power through and go all the way through from 4 o'clock and not worry about the fireworks, you can have maybe a little bit longer dinner. You can maybe do some meet and greets, because you're going to see a lot of return, say from 9 to 10, while everybody else is making their way to the hub at the Magic Kingdom or setting up shop around World Showcase Lagoon. You're going to start to really maximize your time on attractions and see shorter wait times. So I think that's a big thing to think about is, what's my strategy for at night? Am I going to see fireworks, or am I going to go for attractions? And Ricky, I know you typically do attractions. For a lot of, I'd say for 75% of the crowd, it's going to be the opposite. So I just think you've got make that decision early. Don't try to leave it to 8:30. What are we going to do? Because then it's like, it's almost too late. And you've kind of, if you do it early, you're going to have a better idea of how to maximize the night and get a better experience either way. So
that's absolutely true. Yeah, no, I mean, the chances of me stopping and seeing a fireworks show or whatever is pretty slim at this point. They're just not that like important to me. Never really have been, but I will, like, if it's a new show or something like that, like when Harmonious debuted, of course I made sure that I had a spot for that. But for me, like, the nighttime shows, they are the time where I can go and get a lot of rides done when everybody else is, in surrounding wherever the show is taking place. I can absolutely get, rides and attractions and meet and greets and things like that done. And that's so key because, I don't I don't love to be in the sea of humanity. It's kind of one of those things about me. I'm
Well,
not a big fan.
I think too, over the past few years, I think that is going to be more common than it was pre-COVID. I mean, because I think people just didn't think about that. Like we just always got cattle, herded
Mhm.
into big areas, and that was just kind of how life was. And now people are, I think we're just as a society more like apt to. It doesn't bother me at all. Like I could care less. Like that's just me. Like
I
whatever.
I never
That's
loved it
what
to be
people
this.
think about it now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do. I never loved to be in the sea of humanity before, though. For me, there's a sense of added anxiety that I don't love. So I'm not like super keen on putting myself in anxious situations. And then inevitably I'm so short that somebody's going to stand in front of me that's tall, or somebody's going to stand in front of me that or put their I get it, you want your kids to see the show, whatever, I understand, but that's going to be where they put their kids on their shoulder and I'm not going to be able to see her, whatever, there's a balloon in the way. So for me, just not having that stress and not having to worry about the fact of I'm going to be in the spot for a half hour, and then somebody's going to roll up and screw up my view 5 minutes before. So I'd rather not deal with any of that, which is why, like, we've just suggested, I've actually sort of come around to the idea of the dessert parties, like at the Magic Kingdom and things like that, because then, like, I know at least I have a decent view. I'm not going to be completely surrounded by the sea of humanity, and I still have some space. Plus, I get awesome desserts. So, it's win-win for me. So definitely consider a dessert party if you're kind of like me and you're anxious and you don't really want to be in the sea of humanity. So, which is a great option, and it allows you to have some really great snacks. So I'm a big fan. Per snacks, right? But I'm with you. If it is something that that is important to you, you definitely want to make sure you stake out a spot at least 30 minutes beforehand. Occasionally when I, have the opportunity and I roll up and I see a spot where it's not like super crowded at that time, I've got like 15 minutes before, 10 minutes before, maybe I might stop and take the spot, but I'm not gonna, unless I'm just really all in, I'm not gonna line up, more than 30 minutes before. Now, there's definitely people who are all in and they get their spots early. So, just be aware of that too. There are people who start lining up an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours before the shows. So, it's all about your priorities and what you have for your family.
What I've noticed too with like the people putting their kids on their shoulders or lifting up their kids, which I don't like, but the thing is, I think it's less likely to happen like up in the hub where people have all kind of waited for like 30, 40 minutes all together, kind of communal.
Maybe.
Like there's almost a sense of like communal thing there. Like we've all waited this out. We're not going to be jerks to each other. But when you get back like on Main Street where people are kind of like showing up kind of last minute, it's almost like more of a free for all back there. People pop up, iPads. I mean,
yeah.
Yoda baby Yoda backpacks pop up like for no reason. Like it's a backpack. He doesn't need to see the show. I don't know. Like it's almost like cheap seats. Like it's all good. Like once you get halfway down Main Street, like, hey, anything flies here. Like, balloons.
It's true.
It's crazy. Pam, okay, so give us another tip, Pam. What else we got for nighttime?
So another thing I want to mention is that if you're entering one of the parks during like the early evening hours, note that some of the attractions are likely going to close earlier, and that just is dependent on the attraction. There are certain ones that close earlier, and you can usually see it in the app. If you go to the app and go to the park that you're at and then go to attractions, if you click on the actual attraction, it will list the hours that is open, and will actually give you sort of a predictor on how busy it will be at certain times. And if it's going to be closed, then of course it won't be showing that at that time. But that's something to note, just because some things do close early, dependent on whether they have staff or not to do that. And in certain parks, like the Magic Kingdom, there are some attractions that will be closed at different times because of the fireworks, and you're only allowed to be in those areas.
Another really big one that closes early that a lot of people don't think about is actually Kilimanjaro Safaris at Animal Kingdom. And that closes early, sometimes that closes before, sunset. So that is something to keep in mind too. If Kilimanjaro Safaris is on your list, keep that in mind, that you're going to want to make sure you do that a little earlier, because that attraction does often close well before the park closes. So.
They don't do the thing where you can hear the what's that animal?
No.
Because I went down for that thing and they like, do you hear?
Yeah,
it?
I don't think they do the nighttime safaris anymore. So
what was that animal? I forgot the animal. Like there's a guy he played for LSU as a cornerback.
Sugar.
Oh, he was it's an animal. And I think he plays for the Steelers now. He's a cornerback, or maybe the Chiefs. But he played for LSU. It's an animal. But they're like, do you hear it? Because I was at that media event.
Yes, honey badgers. Honey badgers.
I'm like, I was so I'm like, I hear it.
Oh my gosh.
When they took us on there, we were some of the first that rode that. And the dude was like, do you hear the honey badgers? And we looked at each other like,
no.
I heard it. I hear it.
And then I remember asking, because one of our agent's daughters, I'm like, do they have honey badgers on Kilimanjaro Safaris?
Yeah, I didn't think they did.
Like, no.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think they do.
Do honey badgers make a noise in the evening?
I don't know.
I'm so gullible because I was like, yes, I hear it. It's coming. Go.
Are you sure it wasn't the hyenas or
No, this was in the very beginning.
Seriously, the honey badger? Okay.
I have no idea how big a honey badger is, but it sounded mean. And I was like, let's go, because I don't know if this thing's going to come out and be the size of a gorilla.
It was a recording. It was so bad.
I had no idea.
It was near the very beginning, and the guy was irritated at us, first of all, because we were like having a good time and joking and like
he
laughing.
Was not having any of it.
No, he was taking it very serious. He was in character, and then he told us to be quiet so that we could hear the honey badgers, and we were like,
okay.
Yes, I hear it, and like it's getting closer. Go. Yeah, I still don't know what a honey badger looks like, but I did not want to meet that thing that night because it popped out onto our Jeep.
All right.
It was
badgers are mean.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
they are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so kind of piggybacking on Pam's, what I was going to say is,
we just launched into a whole convo.
We totally did.
Is what the show
about honey badgers.
Yeah. So, but what I was going to say though is like the things you want to be aware of. If you're doing attractions at night at a theme park, you want to make sure that you hit things that are live entertainment shows early, because those are going to be the things mostly that are closed. So anything is going to have like Festival of the Lion King over at Animal Kingdom, Finding Nemo the musical, anything that's got live entertainment, they're pretty much going to shut down around dinner time. But also things like Enchanted Tiki Room, Country Bears, those things are going to go away come like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Try to think what else are some of those attractions that we could name that typically close early, like because those two usually close down early. The Treehouse at the Magic Kingdom, sometimes will close early. Carousel Progress, that stays open.
It's been staying open. A lot of things have been staying open more lately, but you're right. Like it's hard to predict this. And on the same note, there are certain restaurants that close sometimes before dinner or soon after. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And that sometimes it's like, you're like, okay, well, I was planning on eating counter service somewhere. Can you tell me what's open right now?
What counter service location is open?
That was going to be my last big tip of this whole show, was that I remember distinctly being in Hollywood Studios for an Extra Magic Hours. Again, back when they had Extra Magic Hours in the evening, which, just for the record, that was always the worst idea ever, was PM Extra Magic Hours at the studios, because the park is small. It was packed. And like we said, a lot of the studios was based on shows. So you wipe out all those things. Back then, they didn't have hardly any attractions.
That's true.
Yeah, all these people in the studios for like 5 attractions. Everybody's fighting for, space. But I still remember it was one of those nights, exactly what Pam just said. I had like not gotten dinner. I'm like, no, let's just do a couple more attractions. Let's keep going and we'll eat in a minute. And it got to be like 9:30 or 10 o'clock. And I'm like, okay, now let's eat. There was nothing open. I remember I ate a turkey leg like a barbarian because it was the only thing I could find that had meat in the park. And I was just destroying that thing down at Tupaluca's or whatever that place is down by the Tower of Terror.
Yep.
I was like, I just wanted to eat I was so hungry. And that was really literally because I don't know, like I can't remember like if Backlot Express was closed or something for some reason.
Probably was. I think it probably was closed early. Yeah.
Nothing to eat in that park at night. See, and that's happened more than once. Like if you, especially if you go to like these, late night things. Like, I mean, you'll get Columbia Harbor House will close on you. I mean, it'll be like, you'll be like, oh, I'm going to get some clam chowder. Nope. You're not getting clam chowder. Columbia Harbor House closed at 8, and it's 9 o'clock. Usually the place you can go is Pecos Bills at the Magic Kingdom or
Cosmic Rays. Yeah.
Those are your 2 choices. Yep. Epcot, you'll have Sunshine Seasons, Creation Cafe now.
Yeah.
And you'll have some places around World Showcase
Lagoon. Well, yeah. I mean, and you usually there's a festival going on, so you can usually find something at a festival booth. But there'll be a long line for it, but you'll find something.
Yeah, literally. But I mean, that is my biggest tip for nights is that you do not want to think you're going to get anything you want late at night because your favorite counter service might close at 7 or 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I think it's more true at Hollywood Studios and again also Animal Kingdom. I feel like those 2 parks definitely have restaurants that are quick service that close way earlier than anything else. So, with very minimal options. Like you said, there was like nothing available. At least at the Magic Kingdom and Epcot, you got a couple of choices. But I feel like at those 2 parks, like once like you hit a certain time period, man, everything is just shut down. So unless you want a snack, you are out of luck. So, which is very
and I mean, like for lunch or breakfast, for breakfast, a lot of times I'll eat at a resort, and then go to the park, right? Or for lunch, like say I'm at the studios for lunch. Well, it's very easy. And I say this many times, one of your best options besides my buffalo chicken grilled cheese, which I wish I was eating right now as we were podcasting, is one of the best counter service options at the studios is to walk right out of the studios, get on the Skyliner and go over to the Riviera have Primo Piatto. Honestly, I mean, because you'll be there in 5 minutes and it's awesome. But you're not going to do that if you're there at night because just that time is so precious in the evening. You're not going to take the time to leave the studios, go over to the Riviera, eat something at 9 o'clock at night and hop back over. Like that's just not good use of your time because in the afternoon you got the rest of the day.
Right.
It's not time crunch. So yeah, you really got to kind of think about it. And you don't. I think the bottom line is at night in the parks, you probably don't want to wait to have your dinner until past like 7 o'clock. Like have dinner by 7 and then snack the rest because you can get snacks. You just can't get a meal. It sometimes unless you want like Pecos Bills or a burger over at Cosmic Rays or the big chili dog, which is good.
Oh my gosh, the big chili dog. Yeah,
it's good. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Or the burger that's got the mac and cheese on it.
Yeah, there's that too.
There's that.
Yeah, okay, heartburn food. Yeah.
Oh, for real. I mean, you're at a theme park at like midnight. It's you're living life.
That's true. You got a good point. Yeah.
Living large. All right, Ricky, give us one more tip for night times in the theme parks or at the resorts.
Yeah, so my tip is going to be, after the fireworks happen or the nighttime show or whatever, if you can, do not leave the parks immediately. Everybody and their brother is heading towards the monorail, the buses, the boats at that point. Like as soon as the show is done, that sea of humanity that I was trying to avoid, they're all heading toward the exit at that point. So like, do not go toward the exit at that point. If you can hang out. If the park is open a little bit later, go into another land and, go ride some attractions for a little while or, maybe grab a snack in one of those lands or whatever. But do not, under any circumstances, unless you have to, do not leave the park at that point. It is just, you're going to be angry and frustrated because you're going to be waiting with everybody else to try to get back to your resort or try to get back to your car or whatever. It's going to take forever. The lines are going to be so long, no matter which form of transportation that you're on. So, give it at least a good half hour, I would say, if you possibly can. I would tend to do longer if it's possible. but definitely you want to give it at least a half an hour before you try even to attempt to leave the park, because it's going to make your life so much better. I promise you. So go shopping, do whatever, but do not exit the park at that moment. You trust me, you do not want to do it.
And you know what? I think we all agree the parks are at their best at night.
Absolutely.
I mean, they really shine at night with how the lighting packages. Like, there's so many cool lighting effects in the theme parks. But here's the thing: then maybe people don't realize this. The theme parks are even at their best right before closing. I mean, at the very bitter end. If you can hang out, say the park closes at midnight, from 11 to 12,
it's the best.
That's the best of the best, because a lot of people have left. You're going to be able to hear the background loops again. You're going to hear things you didn't hear because it's been crazy all day. It's the coolest part of the day. You're not like walking on the sun hot. And it just feels like more romantic. It just feels more like exotic in Adventureland. It feels more frontier-y in Frontierland. It feels more Tomorrow-y in Tomorrowland. I don't know. It feels awesome. I just love it at night in the park. That's why after our events are so cool. I mean,
it is. It is. I mean, it's going to save you so much headache. And like I said, one of my favorite things to do is to go and grab a snack. You usually, I mean, I know like the Main Street ice cream parlor is usually packed, obviously, after. But if I've got my patience pants on, I will oftentimes go get an ice cream there, and then I'll go down Center Street and I'll enjoy my ice cream and just sit there and listen to the music that's up above, and all the tap dancing and stuff like that. And I have a really nice time just sitting there relaxing as you can literally see the world passing by you walking down Main Street USA as you're in Center Street, and you're just like, I'm off on my own.
Speaking of ice cream late at night, Gibson Girl at Disneyland, you can mobile order your ice cream. Oh,
yes.
When I saw that, I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. You can mobile order your ice cream.
Yeah, that would be huge to be able to do it at the Magic. There's no way you could do it at the Magic Kingdom. There's no way, but it would be huge.
Why not? We did it Disney. It was like,
I know.
It was like, what's his face? I was like, is this heaven?
It's
true.
Like,
no, this is Gibson Girl. You can mobile order ice cream. I was like, and I did it every day I was in. That's how I finished out. I was like, mobile order cone. There we go. Okay, Pam, give us one last tip, then we'll get out of here for the weekend.
So my best tip for going at night is the fact that you're going to want to take about 1 million photos because the lights that they have, the neon, the way that everything looks. I mean, you said that the parks are at their best, but they are not just at their best. They are so magical at night. It just seems like someplace that you feel like you've seen 1 million times looks spectacular at night. Hollywood Studios is a great spot to consider this because of all the neon. We say this again and again, but it's just such a great park at night. But every one of the parks, it's like Disney really takes the time to think about, okay, this is what the park's going to look like during the day. This is what it's going to look like in the evening. This is what it's going to look like at night when it's dark. And it's just so cool. There's some really, really great photo locations. There's some things that you're going to want to take a picture of. So practice with your phone, right? On that night setting, go out and do it because you want to have great photos there. And the other thing to note is that there are definitely PhotoPass people still in the parks at night. There aren't as many as there are during the day, but they're in some great locations, and let them take a photo for you because they have the setup right there. They've already gauged the light. They have certain setups, and go ahead and do that. In front of Epcot is actually one of the best spots to take it. They really do a great job with Spaceship Earth behind you, but they do it at all the different locations in front of the icons most of the time. So check those out.
Do keep in mind though, because I've gotten caught in this, once the park closes, they will shut off that line a lot of times for PhotoPass. I've had it happen before to me. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you are wanting nighttime photos, you might want to make sure you do it just before park close because, again, you don't want to be like stuck where they're like, nope, not taking any more pictures. So.
Okay, and a couple last tips for the resorts. And Diane, who's always here in our live chat, we appreciate that so much. She said, check the closing time for your resort pool in case you want to go back and do a nighttime swim so you can kind of judge the time you would need to leave the theme parks to get back and get your suit and go swimming. She reminded me of this. Also, If you think you're going to get something to eat back at your resort. Now, this was huge during COVID.
Yes.
Because this burned us so bad. One night this was with Mallory. This was during one of the cheer weekends. I think it was one of the cheer. It was a nightmare night. She had not had dinner. We were going to go back to the hotel and get dinner at the food court. We missed it by like 10 minutes.
Oh.
The food court was closed. And like all the theme parks were closed at that point. And every food court was closed because they all closed at the same time. So we were out of luck. And she has not had dinner. And we were just like, oh man, we got to get her some food. Like she has not had food. So you got to watch that because like say comes 11 o'clock. I mean, at that point, if you don't have something to eat, you're eating out of a vending machine, like, you know, at the end of your, you know, row of rooms at Pop Century or something. You're eating a Nestle Crunch or something.
Mike, hence the need for purse snacks. I'm just saying, this is what purse snacks were made for.
Well, I guess what we could have done was like Uber Eats or something, I guess.
You could do that too, I'm sure. Yeah.
I don't know why we didn't think about that. It was a couple years ago. But I just remember we were on the Skyliner, like, we'll go over to the Riviera. It was closed. We were like, oh, dude, I was trying to think of everything, but we missed it by like 10 minutes. And I was like, oh, we're in trouble. Because, you know, a lot of times you're counting on that food court being open and then you get back and it's closed. You're like, oh man, what I would give for a buffalo chicken grilled cheese sandwich right now. That's what I'm thinking about, that $50 right now. I do it.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, hope we gave some good tips. I think we did. Did we do all right? I think we did for nighttime theme parks.
I think so.
I think we're okay. All right. We're going to get out of here, but we'll be back again on Sunday night. Scott's going to join me and we're going to continue this topic with your thoughts. So give us a call. Sunday night, we'll be live on Facebook and YouTube, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. We'll continue the discussion because I know you have lots of ideas and you'll be like, Mike, how did you forget? It's a hedgehog. No, it's a honey badger. You guys you'll do that. Whatever. You'll help me out on Sunday night. We'll do it for the good of the cause. We'll all have better vacations because of it. Don't forget, today's show always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Check them out for all of those Disney trips. We're going to make sure you have a great time. You're going to get tips in your email once you book that trip. You're going to get great advice. You're going to have a partner in planning. When you need to call Disney, you don't need to call them. We do that for you. And right there, that is gold these days. We're going to just take great care of you from the time you fill out that quote form. Just swing by themagicforless.com today. Also, please use our Amazon affiliate link. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And a special thank you to the patrons of the Be Our Guest Podcast. You make all these shows possible. We could not do without you. And our patrons get that bonus show called Mike in the Midwest. If you'd like to join us, we'd love to have you. Come on over to patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. Give Ricky a follow on social media. She's at Ricky Nibs, RIKKINIBS. Pam's at TMFLT Pam. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike. We'd love to talk to you this week on Instagram and Twitter. And we're going to get out of here. And we'll join you again on Sunday night. So everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and HOWELL. All right.
Hey.
Boom.
My voice made it almost.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that was
now
good.
it made me want to go, right?
No.
I know. I like the evenings. Like, I like the night so much there. Like, as we're sitting there talking, I'm like, hey, I want to go.
No, seriously, it worked. It worked. We all want to go.
It did work.
I want
Worked
to
on
go.
us.
Yes.
I want the sandwich so bad right now. For real. That sandwich is so good. I'm going to visit.
I get it.
So
Oh
meaty
my
and
gosh.
gooey and the steak
Too
fries.
funny.
Both. So I dip my steak fries in the little sauce.
Nice. Nicely done.
All right, I got to go because I
Oh,
need to
thanks.
get up to the H.
All right. See
All
you
right, I'll see you
guys.
guys.
Bye.